The Auditor Gateway to Hell mod just dropped this month, and it has two interesting characters in it, being the Auditor and Tricky. So let's first go over how boyfriend and girlfriend find themselves in this situation, and then let's go over some facts about each of the main characters in this mod. So basically, boyfriend and girlfriend find themselves in this situation because they have just defeated Tricky, and as they are fleeing from that situation, they find shelter, and then inside, the Auditor is actually waiting for them. As we see in the scene here, he is not surprised to see them, and he even has a gun pointed right at him. But of course, as always, boyfriend is ready for the rap battle, and that commences. Now, what's interesting about the Auditor is that he's technically the main antagonist of the Madness Combat series, and he's also the person that allowed Tricky to be revived and basically get all his powers. Strangely enough, the Auditor has a body that's just like a grunt's, but he has these bright red eyes, the bright red halo, and he's literally shrouded in shadow. This is interesting to me because according to the creator, he was never actually a grunt. He's always been this shadow-like figure, so it means that he just happened to take on this form. Now, there has been some debate over the history of the Auditor. A lot of people believe that he is an employer, which is basically this godly-like figure that looks over all of Nevada and exists in the higher realm. The reason that this is an issue for some people, though, is because a lot of people thought that he was actually from Nevada, so the two ideas contradict themselves. Now, something that I find really funny about the Auditor is that even though he's considered to be the big bad of the Madness Combat series, he technically only has 3 kills, meaning that the only person in the series that has fewer kills than him is the Sheriff. A more serious fact about the Auditor is that he technically doesn't want to be seen as a god or even idolized by people. The Auditor is basically a living gateway to hell, and the only reason the Auditor has this army of grunts is because Hank and the rest of them just keep getting in his way. Fun fact, the hell that we're talking about is actually represented in Tricky's Expurgation song. That background is technically what this hell we're talking about looks like. Now, this mod does something interesting in the fact that it allows you to play as the Auditor and you are actually going against Tricky the Clown. So for those of you who don't know, Tricky the Clown is one of the central antagonists in the Madness Combat series as well. He started out as like an assassin that was actually hired by the Sheriff, and later on he even got his own little saga called the Tricky Saga, of course. And this was after he was given the power of the improbability drive. This drive is also the reason that Tricky is always shaking. The drive basically granted him superhuman speed and strength, and also made him turn into a complete maniac. Now, what's interesting about Tricky is that technically he's only killed 18 people, at least canonically, but he's died 13 times, which I find crazy. And I think my favorite thing about Tricky is that even though he is super powerful and technically he has the power to be able to kill Hank, the reason that he loses so many of his battles is because he tries to toy with his prey, especially when that prey is Hank specifically. And in playing this game of cat and mouse, it's usually how he ends up getting himself killed. Now, a fact that was surprising about Tricky is that apparently he is the smartest character in the Madness Combat series. And this is because before he was Tricky the Clown, he was technically Dr. Hofnar, which was one of the smartest, if not the highest ranked scientists in the Madness Combat series. And a fun fact here, apparently Tricky and Jeebus are the only characters in the Madness Combat series to actually have hair. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the video on the screen here where I fully explain the Blue Balls Incident mod. Thank you for watching. This is Orseofkorse. Peace, peace.